TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? Rocking with us again. We are on to week 15. Fantasy playoffs are here. It is COVID week apparently as well. You know, a lot of COVID cases going on around the league through the first couple of days of this week. Not ideal for fantasy playoffs, but that's the world we live in. At least there's no buys to deal with like there was last week. But regardless of that, we're going to talk about some running backs that are probably a little bit more off the grid, running backs that are more flex options, and we're going to start on that right now. Cody, who are we rocking with this week as your sleeper?
As of right now, it's a little gross if you're trying to find guys like deeper down the list that you can feel comfortable plugging in and starting. But depending on what happens with all this COVID craziness, maybe that might change, especially if, let's say, none of the Miami running backs get back in time, then you're looking at like Malcolm Brown and Duke Johnson potentially. They're obviously widely available, so make sure you're keeping an eye on that. The one guy that I do want to talk about really quickly, not a play that I feel great about, but he's getting the snaps, he's getting the opportunities. Devin Singletary. We have Zach Moss as a healthy scratch, a couple times already this year. We thought Matt Breida was going to be a thing. He was starting to get us excited, talking about like, man, he's going to come through. He has fallen off a little bit. But in the past two games, although Singletary's only ran the ball 14 times, he did see 7 targets in this last game against Tampa Bay. Gets this matchup against Carolina. Not a fantastic matchup. I think if they're going to continue to use Singletary this way, you can definitely look to plug him in full PPR leagues. Like I said, it's a little thin, but there aren't a lot of deeper names that I'm necessarily in love with this week. But COVID could come through and change all of that. So definitely have to make sure we're paying attention.
Yeah, so for me, I have a few guys that I want to hit on really quickly, and one is Rashad Penny. Love to see it. He was my guy last week. Talked about him all week. A number of different shows, whether it was our live start sit shows, whether it was our sleeper show. Absolutely love Rashad Penny, and he absolutely rewarded me last week with 16 carries for 138 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and 26.8 PPR points, which is good. Running back 4 on the week. Love to see it with Rashad Penny. Absolutely crushed last week. He played 56% of the snaps. 5 on the season. He only has 43 total carries. 5 of those 43 have went for 20-plus yards. So as well as this week, they are playing the LA Rams, which, they've been an okay defense against the run. They allowed the 17th most fantasy points to running backs, but they've also allowed a rushing touchdown in 6 straight games. So they have been vulnerable there on the goal line to opposing running backs. And Pete Carroll already came out this week and already said that he has earned the right to be the starting running back, which shocker. I mean, who else do they really have there? It's Alex Collins that is just been absolute dust, and then Adrian Peterson, which is terrible. So Rashad Penny, like I've said, I think could be a really league winner, really to close out the season. This is a much tougher matchup against the Rams, but I think Rashad Penny can get it done here. So I do like him as kind of a flex option RB. And then we have Deontay Foreman, 13 carries last week, 62 total yards, 1 touchdown, 14.2 PPR points, but he only played 33% of the snaps. He does have 32 attempts over his last 2 games, but he has minimal passing game usage with only 3 targets over the last 2 games. But I also feel like some of that last week was just because they just blew the doors really off of the Jaguars. Jaguars put up no fight whatsoever. However, this week they get a great matchup against Pittsburgh, who allowed the 7th most fantasy points to running backs. We just saw Dalvin Cook absolutely smashed in the last matchup, against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. The Steelers defense is wrecked with injury and just is not the same defense they used to be. So this is a defense or an offense that loves to run the ball, and I think they're going to run it through Deontay Foreman this week. So I don't mind him as well as kind of a flex option. I don't think he has an incredibly high ceiling, but I do think he is a worthwhile add and a worthwhile play, at least as an RB3 here in this matchup here. I also want to mention, it sounds like Michael Carter should be back this week, so I think that he's actually a pretty interesting play this week. I think he's very going to be utilized far more in the passing game here. In this offense, they are missing Elijah Moore. They're missing Corey Davis. They're going to have to utilize him, and we saw him get peppered with targets. So I think in PPR formats, you can also plug in Michael Carter and feel pretty good about it in this matchup as well. I appreciate everybody checking out the show. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions, we will answer every single one of them. It is the fantasy playoffs. We are trying to get on. We were trying to win those chips. That's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. So with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.